Welcome to the mega edition of the No Communication Challenge, because I brought back all of your favorite developers, making this video the best of the bunch. Anyways, if you aren't familiar with the No Communication Challenge, let me explain. The first developer works on the game for 2 hours, and then he passes it on to the next developer. This will continue until all the developers have gone, setting up funny misunderstandings and a crazy result. Let's begin.
Hello, my name is Zen, and of course, I'm a game developer. So let's get right into my turn. First thing I had to do was decide what I wanted to do with the game, and I came up with a little bit of an idea. And that idea was to make a 3D side-scroller. The first thing I decided to do was make a small, basic map. After that, I decided to get right into setting up the camera. After that was done, I made sure to lock the player on the Z-axis. So after that, I decided to make the camera a little more advanced by making it snap to certain Y-axes, so it was a little smoother. One thing I had to make sure of was to make sure that the other developers could actually read and use my code properly. After that was all sorted out, I decided to move on and make coins. Asset editing. As you can see next to the coin counter, I'm also setting up an HP counter. After I got everything feeling good, I decided to call it there. I'm pretty proud of what I did, but I hope none of the other developers get stuck on my code. I'd like to thank Screw for letting me participate in this challenge. If you like what I did, go check out my 2D platformer called Geometry Blocks. It's on Roblox and there's absolutely zero in-app purchases, so after you watch this, go check it out. Anyways, hope the best forward with this game, and you have a great day.
Now, before we go any further in this challenge, I want to tell you about my Discord server, because that's where I send announcements for the challenges that I host, so you're gonna want to be in it.
Do you want to be in my game swap? Could I just get some money? No. Alright, this is my totally real impression of the game. Never seen it before. Okay. What? I gotta be very early into the game. I don't understand this. Okay, but for real though, why am I here? Well, I'm here to make the game look good. Alright, we got a start of the game. Yeah. Alright, well, I don't like how flat this game is, so I'm gonna add some more depth to it, you know? Alright, so I started. I made it look decent. I will just make a little map, you know, showcasing how the game should look like for the other devs. I'm making this a time-lapse. Boring! That was a long time-lapse, wow. Alright, and that's it. Yeah, subscribe to Squid, like me Squid. And yeah, that's it.
Hey Watson, Cinderblock.
Hello guys, it's me, Magic aka MagicDub. More animated than ever for some reason. This feels weird. Anyways, guess what I'm gonna say? I'm in Scroof's Game Swap! Alright, no more joking around. So I started up the project and found this. A 3D side-scroller, which was from right to left instead of left to right. Yeah, we can ignore that. So I spent an hour trying to understand the code. It's very good. There's just a lot of it, which my little brain cannot understand. So after said hour, I was like, why don't I make a monster for the game since there's not a lot of hazards in it? So it was all going very smoothly. I had a good model, good animations, but then I realized, oh no, I still have a small brain. So I scrapped that since I can't really code an AI system since I'm too dumb. After exactly 30 minutes, I came up with the genius idea to add spikes. They don't move, they don't require AI, they don't require brain. So they're perfect for me. But when adding the spike sound effects, I noticed this spike feels weird. Why is that? Oh yeah, it's because nothing in the game has sound. It's literally only the spike. I don't know why this was, but I fixed it. I added music, I added hurt sound effects, I added coin sound effects, I added jump sound effects, all of that good stuff. But then I was like, I have 10 minutes left. What should I add? So I was like, what the heart collectible does, basically it gives you 10 to 20 HP. Very useful when you're low on HP. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I edited some funny rocks. There were rocks in the game, but they didn't do anything, so I made them sink when you touch them. The final thing I added? Myself behind some mountains. Thank you guys, thank you. That was the best self insert of my life.
Wow, that last person sure did something with the game. Anyways, I'm Tate.
And I'm Beans. And we're the founders of Tate as well as Beans.
You might know us from a little game called Pest Control. And if you don't know it, it's the greatest game of all time. Enough said. I'm going to be taking on the role of scripter for this turn.
I'm gonna handle all of the building. We'll be starting with what I did for the game. First thing I noticed with this game is that it all looked very plastic and kind of boring. All the meshes were very clearly free models, which I'm guilty of using free models on my own, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anyways, I'll get started on what I changed. My primary style in building is old-ish Roblox, you know, that era. So I replaced all the meshes with parts and used Surface Tool to create some classic studs. I added some classic Roblox free models in order to fill out the background. Originally there was some castle. I replaced it with a Roblox classic castle. Plus some of my custom models like the gas station. Then I used the brush tool plugin to add some foliage like trees and flowers. Then I added some funny billboards and signs. Just wait till you see what Tate did. It's pretty impressive, let me tell you.
After I playtested the game for the first time, I saw two things that needed to be done. First of all, the game was buggy. That's no one's fault. You know, you only got 2 hours. You just need to make sure that works. So I spent about 30 minutes just making sure that the game was at least playable. I did that by locking the player to the X and Y axis, because before, you could move about on the Z. Second, rocks didn't respawn after you fell on them. And so that was a quick and easy fix. They were back in the game, working as they should. I did more stall things after that, but bugs still obviously happened. I could name a few off the top of my head. Anyways, my second thoughts about the game was that I wanted it to feel more like a cohesive game, instead of just like an engine. Because right now, it was just a bunch of stuff, but there's no reason to do any of the stuff. You know, coins did nothing but increase the number at this point. So the first step I did was adding double jump. I just thought double jump just feels really nice in every game. But unfortunately, this just took way too long to make. But whatever. It eventually got added into the game, and I think it makes a world of difference. But the main thing I spent my time doing was adding a dialogue system to help portray a story throughout the game. I did this by placing these invisible parts throughout the map, and I have a script that when you touch them, it'll make your player send a little message in the chat that portrays what's happening in the story. After that, I did a bit more bug fixing, but then, before I realized it, my time was up. I wish I got a little bit more done throughout my 2 hours. I think if I didn't have to waste so much time making the double jump, I could have at least started making an ending for the game.
What's up guys, I'm Cash, aka KashTheKing, and I've been scripting on Roblox for around 5 years. So here's what I did for the game swap. The first thing I did was play the game to see what I'd be working with. The gameplay was already made, and so was the map. It looked really good so far, but there were a few bugs. I decided that my role in the game swap would be to organize and optimize scripts. Next, since I saw a couple of bugs during my first playthrough, I decided to figure out where they were happening so I could fix them. While I was looking for bugs, I realized that the game was super unorganized. Some scripts were randomly named and placed, so I organized them and put them in server script service. I also rescripted a lot of them. After playing the game a lot more, I found tons of bugs. The scripts with bugs worked, but they were just kind of bad. No offense to the last scripters. I ended up creating an entire movement module with double jumping and sprinting. The movement system I implemented fixed the bug that allowed players to move forward and backward instead of just side to side. The final thing I did in the game was optimize every script. I turned a bunch of scripts into module scripts and basically rescripted everything. I just wanted the next person in the game swap to not worry about fixing bugs or recoding scripts so they could spend more time on polishing the game or working on the map. Alright everyone, that was everything I did in the game swap. Now I'll be passing it on to the next person, so good luck.
Well, it's Yante, and obviously I am a Roblox game developer, and unfortunately, I don't have that many subscribers, so if you don't mind, please subscribe. And originally, I wasn't supposed to be in this game swap, but I snuck in while Squid was sleeping, and luckily, I got to get a turn. So here's what I did. First off, I checked out the game to see, what scripts it was, what type of game. and I looked at it was like a 3D platformer scroller where you just run, collect coins and stuff, but it had story, which is kind of interesting. But enjoy this footage of me dying for like 8 minutes straight, but it's sped up in 10 seconds. So after playing the game for a bit, I realized there was 2 different stages. One of the stages was on land and, you know, surrounded by happy houses, shops and all type of stuff like that. Then the second stage of the game was in like a cave, spooky type of area, but they both had the same soundtrack. So, you know, in the happy land houses, it's ba 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 da ba da ba ba ba. And then when you're in the scary, spooky cave, it's still ba 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 ba. So I decided I wanted to make, you know, like a soundtrack for specifically the spooky, scary cave stage. So here is a time lapse of me doing that. Now here, I upload the song to Roblox and put it in the game, and hopefully RoDev can figure out how to script it into the scary cave level so it can have a decent soundtrack for it. And now, even though the game was mostly done, I thought to myself, I sneaked in the game swap when I wasn't supposed to be in just to make a soundtrack. That was enough for me, so here is another time lapse of me building a dresser, a TV, a bed, a chair, and a dining table to make the hobo cave look kind of better. And that still wasn't enough, so I decided to do one more last thing, and that was to make a logo and a thumbnail and a name. The name I decided was to make money to escape poverty, and here is a short time lapse of me making a thumbnail and a logo. That is it for my turn. Make sure to subscribe, and goodbye.